Okay, my outstandingly wonderful geological friends, I want you to look at this extremely carefully, where you have that seam, and then you have these pieces coming off, and you have kind of all a bunch of little, they look like fibers or something. Then what is this? This is like a real reddish area over here, and then this the same thing, red running down here, big red blob up at the top. What is all this weave going on? Well, guess what? I have the same thing here. I have exactly the same thing. That's a mountain. I have one here. It's not really the exactly same size. It's somewhat smaller, but there it is right there. Now, what are we looking at here? You know what? Let me turn this light off. Sometimes you get better imagery, or whatever you want to call it, when you have less light. Well, when we saw this over here, this real bloody spot, that right there is exactly the same spot. That, I can make that turn really just red blood if I squirt a little water on there, which I just did. Now, the underneath here is the same situation. It's up here. You see this here? That is red blood. Now, the rest is all muscly, and it'll turn red too. But this is really bloody, and so is this down here. That is literally a layer of blood. This was a large creature. It was a very, very large creature, and that is the blood vessel that would have fed this whole muscle complex, which would have been huge, huge. As you can see the fibers here. This was the skin. You see that? That is like sandpaper. The outer layers of skin on these gigantic creatures were like silicon dense. I mean, that is tough as hell. That stuff, I was thinking I could scratch it with something. This is another body part, but it's just as strong and as strappy and tough. Anyway, and I have them in every single manner of decomposition you can think of. Ugh. And this is the other side of that. And you can see right there. You see that? That's where the muscle connects. And I've got shots of this where you can see all the muscle fibers and how they end up going and interweaving, and then the abrupt transitions, the whole thing. It's an anatomist. I mean, I can't believe an anatomist can't see what's. And really, I got to be honest with you. I think they're just afraid to speak. I mean, obviously they're afraid to speak because nobody can be in the business of that business and the things that they're in the business of being in, and miss all the things they're missing. It's just impossible. I think they're just afraid to walk into the realm of reality. It's the only reason I can think. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that is a chunk of muscle. And that, you know, and I gotta go back to Yale. I approach them, please, please, please. Nope, just rocks, just rocks. So, and then everybody else says, well, why don't you go to Yale? You're right down the road. I said, well, they won't look. They say they're just rocks. They say, well, go away, you moron. So that's what I've been up against. So anyway, we're going to get a little deeper into this because this is all muscles. It's really, really fascinating stuff. And the whole universe, I mean, we can see that's a mountain. That's a mountain. Mountain, gigantic mountain. All of these things out in Utah and all these places, all these just unbelievable, you know, configurations of hills and, you know, just washes that are just impossible to explain. Well, I'm explaining them because they are biology. And I'm going to tell you right now, I understand the chemistry of this. And I'm going to tell you, I hate to talk about being able to test things, but these can be tested. I had mine tested, 3 DNA tests, and it all came back Homo sapien, mitochondrial DNA. All right. Anyway, we're going to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. It said everything's going to be seen one way or the other. This has all been written about before. And it's just that the academics cannot let their mind open up to reality. That's just a fact right now. That's just no question about that at this moment whatsoever. Okay, this is probably the best we're going to do. Now, we have seen the muscle and the tendon and the gluey and the transition zones, all that stuff. Now, remember this. I believe that's where this thing locks into, like there's a ball on this other side, and all of that stuff tangles into it, and these are the tendon fibers. And I will show you an anatomical representation that, I really can't obviously find the exact same thing. But what happens is these tendon fibers come up and they lock in to the wrap around, as you'll see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But this apparently was the anchor zone that whatever this directed pulled against. And it probably twisted and all that stuff. I mean, it's a circular thing. It looks like a bone to me. All right, it doesn't get more detailed than this book. Now, there's a million different places I looked at to try to find that exact situation, and I really couldn't find anything. Well, I could find a lot of things that could be similar, like that's shoulder there and then flaring out into the muscles, which are removed so you can get down to that. And you look at it like that's the shoulder. Who the hell knows what's going on in there? You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe an anatomist would. These are depths and depths and depths and depths of tissues and muscles and tendons and ligaments and all of the different fascia. It's extremely, extremely detailed. Now, again, I can't say that I found anything that I can put my finger on. Just go with that. Okay, my friends, Roger once again, Mudfossil University. We got the triple whammy going here. What does that mean? Well, here is the one screen. And I am going to show this rock on 3 different places at the same time. This was taken a while back, and that is, I believe, like a shoulder implant. And that's the center of the bone, probably. And they encase themselves and attach to ligaments, and then the ligament literally attaches to muscles. They literally weave in there. Now, and I say, yes, I can prove that. Did you ask me that? Yeah, you did. And I say, yes, I can prove that. Okay, well, Roger, prove it. All right, well, where is that? Well, there is the rock right there. That's the same one. You see this? This is the shoulder, what I'm talking about. You see over there where it comes from the shoulder, there's ligaments. And then they come up to a place that's called, well, I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you, but I call it abrupt transition, and it's like a gluey layer that glues. There's gluey, and there's about 4 different transitions, and we'll see them. We can actually see them transition into these other tissue types. When you first attach to the shoulder bone area, this area right here is like a gluey, really gnarly looking stuff. And we're going to be seeing that in the microscope in a second. And then that goes into this fiber, and that fiber comes up to here, and that glues into the muscle. And the muscle comes off, and it tapers off out to here, and then at some point it starts to fracture. You see the fracture places. I don't know if you can see that or not. But they literally just crack off. And it's on the other side, it's the same way. Now, let's take a look at what it looks like in the microscope. So don't forget, this is what we're looking at here. Now, this is the microscope right here. So I'm looking down, bing, right here, right at this area here. My finger is right now on the area that we're going to look at up here. Okay, you see where we are? Bada boom, bada bing. You can go back to this. All right, there is my finger where I just left it. So, what was I looking at? Well, here's what I'm looking at. Now, let me just turn the Z lights off so that we can see this a little better. That's perfect. All right, now you see what happens? It takes a little while. You see? That's the weave. That's the weave of the muscle. It's weaving right into this glue. I'm not kidding you. And I can show this, and I will show it in much better detail. But this is literally the weave of the muscle. And there's like a fibrous, white sort of mineralized stuff in the original grippy stuff, and then it tapers off a little bit. It's still out here, you know. It's all until it sort of loses its that type of thing here. Let me see if I can move this over. All right. Well, this way is where the tendon fibers are. You see, if I go this way, those are tendon fibers. And now I'm back at the shoulder. Up in here some. Whoa, jeez. That's the grippy, gluey stuff up by the shoulder area. It's all biological. I mean, it just needs to be looked at. And there's the weave. There's the weave that weaves the stuff right in. Look at it. Let me see if I can get a better, tighter shot. Hold on. Bugger's tough to home in on from these long distances. Well, you can see the weave if you look at it carefully. All right, now, and like I say, I have some other shots of this that were better from some earlier videos that I did, so I might as well use that. But you could see the fibers. It's not hard to see. And I showed this, if I didn't show it before, I will. See, there's the weave again. There's an abrupt transition. And if we keep going this way, there's an abrupt transition right there. This is perfect to show. You see that? That's an abrupt transition right across there. All right, a little phone call interrupt us there. Now, you see that? That is the abrupt transition. I mean, you could see it if you run it down that line right there. There's a transition between, well, it's hard to see on this one, but trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And all that red stuff up there is blood. It's literally blood. Now, I'm going to put some water on here, and you'll see the difference it makes. Let's see if I can get home in on this a little better. I got to stabilize it. Hold on. Take it easy. Slow down. Move too fast. I just moved this puppy down here. All right, there's another abrupt transition area. You see it right there? That's an abrupt transition. That area right there, absolutely flawless. Excellent job, Roger. Thank you, Roger. There it is. There is the abrupt transition. And then it goes into another set of fibers which are less mineralized. They become more muscly. Let's go with that. Now, and just to show you where we are, here we are, right there. See, that's a zoop right there. All right, I don't know if that matters to you or not, but the shoulder is up in this area. And it keeps getting abrupt transitions until it turns into a really good solid muscle, and then you don't have the transitioning anymore. But it goes from tendon to the gluey part to mineralized, less mineralized, less mineralized, and then muscle. All right, so and that's right up there. My magnificent job. All right, now let's turn a Z light up a little bit. Or down or up. There we go up. All right, so that is that's muscle fiber, and that's what we're looking at right here. I don't know what else I could say. Somebody needs to look at it and check it. I mean, that's just a layer of blood. I don't know what kind of a creature it was. I don't know if this is a shoulder or not, but it's some kind of an attachment here that locked in this gluey fiber here. That is and on the other side, it's just saturated. You know what? Let me put some water on here. Like I said, let's take a quick look at that. All right. Now, every time you do this, you lose detail. But if you get the light in the right areas, you can see that the structure of everything, and then you'll see the different colors. Like this up here, you see how quick that sucks up. That's blood right there. This is real. It all looks like just clay when you get it in this condition, wet like this. But believe me, I know what it looks like, and I know the stuff that eats up the water much faster than anything else, and it is the blood. Right up in this area. Watch up in here. It'll just turn up real dry in a second or two. And it's just, give me all, because I've been soaking that to try to get it wet, and I can't get it wet because it's so bloody, porous, and wants to be attached to oxygen and hydrogen, which is water. All right, so in the muscles, it's not quite, it doesn't absorb it. Yes, yeah, it takes it in pretty quick. Depends on how dry, obviously, it is when you start. But I look at all this stuff in a microscope. I know what it is. And any anatomist will know what it is. I don't have any special ability here. I mean, you look at an anatomy book, you just look at it. This is what it is. I'll show you one of my earlier ones. Like I say, I probably worn a lot of this detail off because you can see all the little fiber marks in it. But once you wash it a few times, and you see that, I believe that's the abrupt transition right there. That area, and then it comes out here. There's probably more out there, but you see how they break off? Those are fibers. The light is ultra important to be able to see these things correctly. And of course you need Mudfossil eyes. Okay, my friends, if you tried to watch this the other day, it obviously was taken down instantaneous. It was like spontaneous combustion. I put a book on, and the reason was there was a little clip in there showing David Attenborough saying, "I'm looking for giants." And I had contacted him back in 2014, and I said, nobody's paying any attention to him. I've been years showing all these giant things and so forth, and he didn't understand me apparently, and he said he's not interested in new entombment things, recent entombments, which is not, I'm talking about the ancient floods, but he didn't understand what I was talking about. But anyway, he said very, very nice to send me back something saying I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff, but he just didn't understand what I had, obviously. But anyway, so they cut me off and they said, but I did. I contacted everybody, literally everybody. Everybody that was talking about anything in the realm that I talk about. Hundreds of people. At least hundreds. And he literally was basically the only one that had showed any interest, any ethical interest whatsoever. Very compassionate. To me, I took that as a sign of compassion, not as a sign of, oh, I don't care about you. I took that as, gee, thank you. I wish I'm not interested in what you're interested in, but a very, very, very nice way to present it backwards. Everybody else would say you're a moron or nothing. But anyway, the BBC decided they didn't want. Somebody must have been watching that. This is the only thing I can think of, because I copied that from a copy of a copy or something. I mean, it wasn't anything. It's not something they could digitally match. I don't think. I think somebody literally saw that and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 get it off." But that again, I could be wrong. So who knows what they have now. Okay, Sir David, we have DNA, PCR certified DNA results of the specimens that I will show you in a second. That there's 3 different ones, and they are all certified as being human mitochondrial DNA. Now, this is not some cheap, simple test. This was very sophisticated, and this was done a while back, and it was all done by a certified lab. They were very qualified tests. This is not something silly. Now, let me show you the samples. All right, this is one that was on that report, and that is a human lung. That's another lung. I don't know if it's human or not, but I think it is. And that is the blood that came out of that lung. Now, let's take a look at I have a hand and I have a finger. All right, that is the hand. That is the palm. It's a left hand, and you have the same thing that wraps around the bumper part. There's a little tendon piece. This is only up about halfway up the palm. This is the fingertip from this. We had it DNA certified, human. Anatomist checked it, 100%, no question whatsoever, that it is a human fingertip from a giant human being. And this isn't the biggest one I have. Now, this is the hand, and that silvery part right there is the grip skin. Grip skin is the real tough stuff on your skin. And I have grip skin from the other finger that I have here that still has the fingerprints in it. That right there is the fingertip of the gigantic one, and this is the actual fingerprints that I broke off the other side to get into where the blood was for DNA testing. That is the fingernail. That's where the bone bumps up to the next, and I believe it's a thumb, a left thumb. I can't remember now. The anatomist looked at it, and he had it pretty well identified. And I mean, it's obviously fingerprints, and this is obviously grip skin. I'll show you the grip skin. And that is obviously the finger. And it is obviously gigantic. It's 36 inches across this way, and I think almost 30 inches this way. Okay, it's not too hard to understand what we have here. This is the same as is on your skin. This is the grip skin, and these are the little dimply looking sweat pores that are on the grip skin. Now, right here, actually, it's right here, was where the fingernail sat. And you have a tiny little bit of regular skin, and it goes right into your grip skin, which is your fingerprints. Very close to your fingernail. And that's it right there. So, Sir David, please have someone contact me. If you're really that interested in giants and things, I have them here, and they're human. And I have all the mud fossils that they've never paid attention to. And they are all now DNA certified, because we can now test the DNA. I was the first one to have DNA certified on ancient human beings, and now it's being done by everybody. So, and it doesn't have to be just humans. You can do it on anything. And I have all kinds of crazy things. Well, let me just show you one new species, and well, here it is right here. Hold on. This is it right here. We have no toes. The toes are built right into the feet, and that's where the fibia comes down. That's where the tibia sat right there, and that's where the blood runs right across the front of your foot, the same as it does on this one. It's completely covered with fabric. It almost looked like it had a medallion on the front. I thought it was a shoe at first, but this is the fabric of the actual creature. And we have lots more of them, and a lot of different sets of decay, and there's springs inside instead of tendons. Please contact me. Somebody, please contact me. All right, by the way, this is the big footprint in the front, and I think a guy stepped in a pile of poop or real bad mud, and I think he was with the kids, and the kids got in there, and he had to pull them out. You see what I mean? Here's the big one. I think he grabbed this guy and ripped him right out of here, and this one too. You know, I did the little kids, you know how the little buggers get into the mud. Anyway, a Devil's Tower is a foot. Now, not only is Devil's Tower a foot, one of the other foot right next to it is deep into the mud. You can't see it, but you can see the pattern of it. I just checked it the other day. Absolutely no question. And then Devil's Tower is right next to it. Absolutely no question there. Now, again, these things can be tested now. I was the first one to have DNA tested on these ancient body parts. And it came back, and not everybody's doing it. It's not something special anymore. So all the things that I have said now can be tested. Is the guy nuts or is he okay? Well, we'll find out. If somebody finally look, the ones that are making all these claims that I'm crazy, prove me crazy.